No, I'm not late. I'm here. It's 9:01. Not my fault if you're late. However, Chrome is frozen. Started at 1. Yeah, that's the start time, baby. There's a cat on my lap. Not 00. That's because I'm the #1 YouTuber on this platform, not the #0 YouTuber on this platform. I gotta fix chat box though. I think make you black. You'll be more visible. There's a cat. I forgive you. Damn tootin'. Forced. There is now a discount for the force. Deploy. See script. Details how you can pay to torture me. And then
here we go.
Force deploy Lethe.
Here. And we already have Lathe force deployed. Thank you, Toyakami, for the $10 donation and force deployment.
Here we go.
You get Nick's cage. I have to take a piss and then also get water because hydration is important. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna give you a heart though. Heart. Heart emoji. Blah! I'm here. I'm queer. And I have pudding. Mmm. Good pudding. Alright. More than one ingestion. Just that. Yeah, I'm sure it's no big deal. Alright. Tormod Forge. Yeah, this map is Tormod Forge. Next map is, I think, Stefan? Scroll down so I can find out. Mia. It was Mia. Called the Needle. You've done excellent work, Ike. Thanks to you, the wound that has scarred Begnion for many long years can finally begin to heal. As promised, Begnion now offers its support to Crimea's restoration. However, Prime Minister Sephirin has yet to return, which limits the reinforcements I can provide. Be that as it may, what troops I can spare await your command. Use them as you see fit. I understand. Thank you, that's good news, isn't it, Princess Lincia? Yes, it is. This has taught me a valuable lesson. Our land needs the Laguz. I also believe that Bjork and Laguz need each other to survive. The previous apostle, my grandmother, was desirous of such a world, as were my own parents. Princess Lincia, your father, King Ramon of Crimea, was a true pioneer in the area of Bjork-Laguz relations. In the very near future, I will give the Imperial Senate a few suggestions on achieving a fully integrated society. I doubt the road will be easily traveled, but I can no longer turn a blind eye to these issues. Princess Lincia, you must rebuild Crimea. If you are successful, we will join forces and change the world. Empress Sanaki, your vision surpasses even my own. My father would be so pleased to hear your words. Looks like you're through with me. I'll wait outside until you're finished. Hold! I am most definitely not through with you. Huh? What did I do now? You're as impudent and impatient as ever. Heed me, Ike. If you are to help lead the Crimean Liberation Army, you must be given a more appropriate title. If you're talking about making me a noble, I'll decline, thanks. That's not my kind of thing. You are not in a position to refuse. Giving some nameless mercenary control of Begnion troops would be problematic. And more importantly, it would affect the troops. You'll resign yourself to this and receive peerage from Princess Lincia. What? No, wait, this is absurd. Blast of all the foolish. I'm sorry about this. If you're absolutely opposed to it, I won't force you. No, I have to do what's necessary. What am I supposed to do now? Put on a funny hat or something? Will you lend me your sword? Thank you. Now, may I ask you to kneel before me? Thank you. Alright, let me begin. In the name of House Crimea, I hereby grant you the title and rank of Lord and all the honors it conveys. Rise, Lord Ike. You are being knighted, do not resist. It's a forced deployment. It's a forced deployment. Does Ike get land? Well, no, because there's no land left in Crimea. It was all conquered. The big iron for knighting. The max weight Lord Sword. Owner of a white sedan, glad you're here. Look at those big gains. 3 strength, he's got 16 now. Woo! It is done. What an odd feeling. Aha, your new rank suits you. I completely agree. Yes, it truly does. I suppose. Not that it matters to me. Actual strength stat. I think Oscar still has more strength than him. And our Oscar's strength screwed. Okay, hold on. I gotta get narrator voice on. Western Begnion is home to a great forest. At one time, these woods were home to the kingdom of the Serenis, ruled by the Heron clan of the bird tribes. Following the Serenis massacre, the forest lost its color and vitality. Some said it was the sorrow of the goddess made real. For 20 long years, the devout citizens of Begnion trembled in shame and loathing over the crime they had committed. The Begnion Empress, Apostle Sanaki, stepped forward as a representative of her countrymen. Kneeling before the surviving Heron Prince and Princess, she gave voice to the apology of her people. She spoke not as one nation to another, but as neighbors on the same continent. The massacre was unforgivable. However, hatred breeds hatred, and if the cycle of grief and anger is not broken, it will continue for time without end. It was with this in mind that the Herons accepted the Apostle's apology. And so it was that Serenus Forest was returned to its former glory. Afterward, as payment for Ike's service, Princess Elincia gained the services of a regiment of Begnion army regulars. Though of common birth, Ike receives peerage from the princess and is given command of the army. As the first snow of the season falls, the newly commissioned General Ike takes control of the Crimean Liberation Army. He heads it towards the knife-edged mountains that mark the border between Begnion and Dane. Why is Begnion so big? Begnion used to be the entire continent. Like, it was an empire for the entire continent before Crimea, Dane, and the Laguz nations broke off from it. So they've left Begnion, have they? According to our spy, they march with the regiment of Begnion's army. They plan to take a land route through Dane and then into Crimea. Ha! They plan to cut across Dane? With nothing more than a single regiment whose core is a tattered band of ragtag mercenaries? Gawain's son leads this rabble, yes? How does he stand up to his father's legacy? He doesn't. He's just a boy, not yet worthy of his father's name. Disappointing! Though his skill with the blade is rough, there is something uncanny about him. People seem drawn to him. And it's not just Begnion's apostle either. He also gained the trust of the Serenus survivors, and the king of Phonexus as well. The Herons are alive? It appears the 2 members of the royal family survived. Look at how nicely the table's been set to us. Also, 3 members, so 4, but in Path of Radiance, 3 members survived because their dad is also alive. Their dad is in Nasalis, or Tabarn's taking care of their dad. Bring one of them to me. I care not which one. And I want the medallion as well. As you wish. If I had a nickel for every time an unpolitical player character got forced into military servitude by a young, naive royal trying to reclaim land, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't much. If I had a nickel for every time an unpolitical player character got forced into military servitude by a naive young royal trying to reclaim land. In Fire Emblem? Once we cross the Great Wall, we'll be in Dane. Look there, atop that building. Dane Wyvern Riders on patrol, and won't be happy to see us. Tell me, General Ike, have you faced Wyvern Riders in combat? Only a few times. I got the impression that the Kilvis Ravens were a more dangerous foe. If that's your impression, then you've yet to fight true Wyvern Riders. What do you mean? No way of judging the ones that we see here, but I know another unit, one that is attached to Begnion's Temple Guard. They have their reasons for leaving, but the important thing to remember is that they are exceedingly powerful, which explains why the Apostles send you to accompany us. That's right, Pegasus Knights are fare better than most against Wyvern Riders. We know the skies as well as they do. Now, I'd prefer to keep my feet on the ground, thank you. Can I entrust the flying business to you? Of course, we'll bring honor to the name of the Apostles' Sacred Guards. Ike and Micaiah? Are you saying Micaiah is not political? I feel like maybe it's time for a Radiant Dawn story refresher. Fallen Ilyana and Tormod. No, the Major Massacre. Micaiah's first and foremost, like, she's trying to fucking do a political revolution. She is the leader of a group of nationalist revolutionaries who are trying to free, Dane from Begnion. Like, she's the very definition of political. She's the leader of a revolutionary group. I don't know what you're talking about. I miss Zihar.
I miss Zihar.
Thank you, Shinthia, for the $5 super chat. So we have Leif and Zihar force deployed on this map. Ilyana died? Yeah, as part of the Great Mage Massacre. Alright, first things first. $99.49 for Tormod's personal weapon. Despite the fact he fucking died. You can hang on to that, Moaram. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Dunn. How are you? We have bonus experience available. We got 1747. I think I can afford to do this. Let's promote Oscar. I forget, did Boyd get promoted? It's been so long since I played. I forget if Boyd promoted or not. I meant politics as in like a politician or a court. Oh, so you just meant non-royal? Oh god, wait, Oscar only had 12 strength? Fuck, I forgot just how strength screwed he was. God, he's so fucking shit. Boyd, okay, we promote Boyd. Oscar really do got those noodle arms. Triangle attack? No, we need to get the base conversation to get the triangle attack. I'm surprised Nephene's alive. That's because nobody force deployed her yet. It's easy to stay alive when you're perma-benched. Oscar doesn't need high attack when he can triangle. Does he have the lowest strength of all three brothers? He's tied with Rolf! He's tied with Rolf! This is so sad. Kieran, why can't I use you instead? The base conversation was way earlier. No, there's 2 base conversations. And you can't triangle attack until you get the second one. The first one is supposed to hint that you need to get them promoted. I think the next one, like, the next one is next chapter, I think. But they need to all be promoted on time for that. General Ike, all troops are ready to move out. Alright, can you have them wait? Do you want them to fall out and wait in their tents? Or would you rather they form up and stand at attention? Go ahead and have them stand down. And I'll call them when I'm ready. Yes, sir. Begging your pardon, sir. All troops have been ordered to stand down. However, General Tanith requests her orders. Are her Pegasus Knights to stand down as well? Am I supposed to decide that too? General Ike, you've been given command of the entire army, sir. We will not move without your orders, sir. General Tanith's troops are to follow General Tanith's orders. Understood, sir. General Tanith's Pegasus Knights will not be deployed unless there is a request for reinforcements. Those are the orders of General Tanith. By your leave, sir. So that's to explain how the reinforce mechanic works, which I'll get into more during the Tanith unit review. Tanith, do you have a moment? General Ike, what is it? Is there a problem? I thought you might be able to provide me with some information. Yes? What can you tell me about King Dane? I'd like to know something of him before we have to face him in battle. Truth be told, I've never fought him either. Can't give you any specifics, but I will tell you what little I do know. Please, whatever you can tell me would be appreciated. Ashnard's coronation. Let me see. Yeah, it was 18 years ago. You see, a plague had struck the capital, spreading out to affect the surrounding region of Nivasa and beyond. Ashnard was crowned the year after that great tragedy finally subsided. In the entire history of Tellius, no calamity has claimed the lives of so many Bjork and Laguz, not since the Great Flood. 2 years before it struck, Begnion and the entire population of Serenus was nearly obliterated. The year after that, close to 1,000 Bjork, nobles and peasants alike, perished in Dane. Nobles, you say? So the royal family fell victim to this plague as well? Yeah. The reigning king and queen and some 20 or so princes and princesses fell ill, and everyone who fell ill perished. For the time, the people despaired of losing the entire royal bloodline of Dane. It seemed that none would survive. And yet Ashnard survived. He did. It's quite interesting in a sense. You see, his name was never mentioned in any talk of succession before that time. He was such a distant bloodline that he was unlikely to become a king. In another place, though, his name was already well known. Where was that? On the battlefield. And as you know, Dane is home to many brave warriors. At the time, then Prince Ashnard was said to have been a match for an entire troop of Pegasus Knights. Begnion and Dane both keep close watch over their borders, and their patrols fought in many skirmishes. Although there was no war to speak of, these land disputes did end with Dane claiming a small portion of Begnion's soil. There would be no exaggeration to say it was solely due to the strength of one man, Ashnard. Forgive me, I have spoken longer than I intended. It's about time we get back to the basis of marching preparations. No, thank you for telling me so much. If we have another chance, please share more of your stories. Understood. The plague is the funniest shit in the game. Well, you know, do you know actually what the plague is? Because it's not a plague, it's something else that gets revealed in Radiant Dawn. It's even funnier. It's even funnier once the twist is revealed. So Ashnard tricked his father into signing a blood contract and then breaking the blood contract. And then just waited until because the blood contract, when someone breaks the blood contract, people start dying in their country. Was the terms of it, was if he broke the blood pact, people would die every day. And so Ashnard just waited until the blood pact by chance killed everyone who was in front of him in the line of succession. Honestly, he could have learned something from How to Make a Killing, starring Glenn Powell, instead. Just kill him himself. My Lord Ike, are preparations complete? Yeah. The enemy should not be aware that we've come this far. We're trying to launch a surprise attack and try to capture the wall at first charge. Please wait at the base camp. Very well. There's no need to look so worried. We're well prepared. And we got you as our good luck charm. Thank you for that, but do be careful, my Lord Ike. Hey, don't worry. This may be our first battle as an official army, but we fought Dane many times. We're going to win. After all, I can't lose my very first battle to Snotty Noble, can I? I believe in you. And I know that you'll be victorious. Come back safe. Is everyone ready? Let's move out. Hold on a moment, my Lord Ike. In the sky, something's coming. Who's that? Ah, Ike. Well met. It appears that you are getting ready for your first battle as Crimea's army. And you're escorting the Heron siblings back to Phonexus, right? That was the original plan, but Someone here insisted that we follow you. Quite unreasonably, I must add. You treated us with courtesy, Bjork. We must act accordingly. Isn't that so, Leanne? You said your name was Ike, correct? Yes. You aided my sister and me during a time of danger. We Herons hold courtesy in high esteem. We must repay our debt to you. It's really not necessary. We are practitioners of Sade magic. We cannot fight, but we can imbue our allies with strength. If you wish it, I shall travel with you. In this way, I will repay you for what you've done. So, this is the ultimate Aaron versus Samson decision. Because if you click refuse, you get the fucking renewal scroll. You were lucky to find your sister. Shouldn't you stay by her side? Leanne understands what I do. I see. In that case, welcome. Thank you. I swear on the honor of my clan to do all that I can to strengthen your cause. It's settled then. You'll get aid from me as well. Janov? Right here, your majesty. You go with the Crimean army and protect Rayson. Leave it to me. You too, Ulki, alright? Of course. Tabarn, it's too much. I can't accept this. You're already watching over Leanne and my father as well. These past 20 years, I know what it's like for you living in Phonexus. I'm only sorry I can't do more. Tabarn, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. King Phonexus, I will guard Rayson well. When Crimea is retaken, I will see him safely return to you. I take you at your word. Your actions have created a bond of trust between yourselves and the Hawk and Heron clans. If you find yourself in a dire position, you can call on me. No matter what, I will fly to your aid. We gained a strong ally where we'd not thought to look for one, didn't we? Yes. Bjork and Laguz. Beast tribe and bird tribe. There's no difference between us. We can finally understand each other. Yeah, I think you're right. Now let's get started. Everyone move out. If you lose Rayson, do you lose the Hawks as well? You do! You do! You do! Oh, well, perfect. They're already... Okay. So, with them just sort of sticking out, this is the perfect time for a unit review. Because we have 4 new units. So Tanith always joins you at this point as a level 10... level 10 promoted Falcon Knight. And she's got really good stats. 16 strength is like a little bit low for a level 10 promoted unit. You know, we were just complaining about Oscar being strength screwed. Or Ike having 16 strength, right? But with 24 speed, and notably 32 HP, 15 defense, 13 res, she's a very good mixed tank. She also has phenomenal weapon ranks. She has A rank swords, B rank lances. She's basically the only magic sword user in the game, because the only other sword user with a good magic stat is Mist, but Mist starts with E rank swords, whereas Tanith, she can use the Ruin Sword and Wind Sword at base. And she's pretty good at using the magic sword. She starts with the Sonic Sword, right? And this, it's only 10 might, even though it's only 2 times effectiveness. Still, 20 might against wyverns is very good. Like, it's a good anti-flyer tool. She's just a strong pre-promoted flyer. I think you should basically always use Tanith. Especially because, like, look, we just got a bunch of new deployment slots, right? There's no reason not to field her. Just solid stats all around, and that's before accounting for Reinforce. I think Reinforce is probably a little overrated. Mostly because, in the same way as FE8, the disposable units aren't as big a deal, but they're not frail in the same way that the disposable units in FE8 are, right? So, Reinforce is a command you can use twice per map to summon 3 yellow units, 2 Pegasus Knights, and 1 Falcon Knight. Their stats differ depending on the difficulty, meaning that in Maddening mode, they're actually stronger than Tanith, which is funny. But basically it's just disposable bodies that you can have fight more people. And like, that's good. You can direct them. You don't get to control them, but you can direct them. It just increases your manpower, which is nice. You can also use them for, like, potentially baiting siege tomes, stuff like that. Like, there's some uses that they can do. The promoted Falcon Knight in particular is very strong because she has a silver weapon. She has a silver lance, I believe. But the unpromoted pegs are also pretty good. I think Reinforce is good. I think if Tanith didn't have Reinforce, she would still be an auto-include on most teams because just her stats are good. And outside of Maniac mode, enemies are weak enough that, like, you don't need the extra manpower, but the extra manpower helps. Because unlike the Phantoms in FE8, the pegs don't die in one hit, right? So they still fight multiple foes on enemy phase and, like, counterattack and often kill people. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Tanith, phenomenal unit. Not the best of these four, though, because Rayson is this game's dancer. He's a flying dancer, too. He doesn't have Canto, but he's a flying 5-move dancer, so he can dance flyers a lot easier as well. He's also a Laguz, so he has the 20-gauge transform thing. He cannot use the Demi-Band to stay permanently transformed, but after 5 turns, or after you use the Laguz Stone, he transforms into a Heron, and he can dance 4-way, kind of like in FE4, right? Where he'll use the dance action, and instead of targeting a unit, just everyone standing adjacent for him, so all 4 squares, get danced. And that is a huge boon. Now, obviously, being a dancer in Path of Radiance, I mean, dancers are always phenomenal, but since Path of Radiance has such a focus on movement, and you lack access to many movement tools, you get 1 pair of boots and the Night Ring, it can sometimes be hard to keep racing up if you're not actively, like, rescuing, shoving, doing stuff like that. But I think he's absolutely worth it, unlike the combat infantry, who kind of just offer the same role as infantry. You know, Rayson can dance someone and then get rescue dropped forward, and it's action economy negative, because you have 2 people rescue drop him, you gain 1 from a dance. If he's transformed, obviously it's positive, because it's -2 + 4. But even with it being action economy negative to rescue him forward occasionally, I mean, 1, it's positive on some turns, and 2, the quality of your actions is going to be different. If you've got, like, super trained Astrid, Titania, Kieran, and whatnot, and then under-leveled Makalov and under-leveled Marsha rescuing Rayson, getting an extra Titania is going to be better than having Makalov and, you know, under-leveled Makalov, under-leveled Oscar, like, do their actions, right? So, dancer good, 4-way dancer better. Also worth noting, he's super frail physically, but with 20 resistance, he basically doesn't have to worry about siege tomes. On this map, there's a Blizzard tome that deals 0 damage to him. So, like, that, I think, because Blizzard's effective against birds. 0 damage. So, yeah, he doesn't have to worry about siege tomes, and that's good, but he dies to every physical attack. He also restores HP to adjacent units, which I guess can, like, sometimes come up in niche situations. How do you feel about the Laguz Stone turn 1? I think, it depends. It's a limited resource. You only get, I think, 4 total charges of Laguz Stones. And I think Rayson's the best user of them. But I also think it requires him to not dance anyone on turn 1. And I find that for a lot of maps, it depends on the map, right? A map like Clash, you usually, like, turn 1 is most often the most important. Turn 1 is not most often. Turn 1 is often the most important turn on maps. So getting to dance on turn 1, I think, is oftentimes better than having a 4-way dance on turn 2, just because turn 1's so important. But there are maps where that's not the case. His joining map, this map, right? Turn 1, you don't fucking do shit. Turn 1 is walk up the hallway, because this is a FE6 Chapter 8 archetype, right? So, like, if you want to use the Laguz Stone for turn 1 on Rayson, yeah, what the fuck is he dancing for on turn 1 here, right? So it depends. It depends, right? But I think in general, just pick your maps. Pick what maps you think it's most important to use the Lagoose Stone on, and do it. Yeah. Next two units are very similar. I'll go talk about Janaf first. They're both just filler units. Janaf is definitely the better of them because he starts out with a 16 gauge transformation. He's a flyer, and he's kind of like Leth in that, like, he gets to exist for 4 or 5 turns, and then he untransforms and is basically useless. But he's got promoted stats, he's got cavalry movement, he's a flyer, and he can shove. And being a flyer who can shove is useful, but it's not too useful, especially because the birds have low weight, so he can't shove other mounted units, which is unfortunate. I think he's fine filler. There's a few maps where you want a filler flyer, and Janaf is a filler flyer. Also worth noting, you need one of Janaf or Ulki in order to get the Night Band, which lets you give a unit without Canto. So Janaf being the better of the two birds means that he's probably better at that task. His stats are good, but the thing about him is, like, I compared him to Lath, but Lath had promoted unit stats at a point in the game where your units were not promoted. Now everyone's promoted. Janaf just has on par stats, and that's pretty unfortunate. Ulki is the same boat as Janaf, but a worse transformation gauge. He starts with 5 out of 20, which means on turn 1 he gets pumped up to 9 out of 20. So he does, without any assistance, he will not transform until turn 2 is 13, 3 is 17, turn 4. God, that's awful. I guess I should point out that they've got, like, corresponding skills. Increases hit, increases dodge. Cool, who fucking cares? But yeah, he's just like, what if Janaf had a worse transformation gauge? Their stats are a little different. Like, ooh, he's got more strength, but less speed. Ooh, more speed. Like, Janaf's also just got better stats because he'll double things that Ulki doesn't double. But, like, at the end of the day, the biggest defining factor is the gauge. Ulki just has a bad gauge. The filler unit who doesn't get to fucking do anything for the first 4 turns is not a good look. At least he's a flyer, but you just got Tanith. You've been training Marcia and Jill. Like, it just feels like too little too late, right? Also worth noting that, like, beaks are 7 might weapons with 1 range lock. So they're basically just, like, bad swords. Whereas you can give, like, a forged steel lance to Marcia, right? I don't know. The Hawks are not very good, but they're also not very bad. They're just middle of the road, right? It's peak filler unit moment. You can cap stats here. So Janaf comes with max strength and Radiant Dawn. Is that true? I don't think that's true. Let me pull up RD Janaf. 32. No, so Janaf's strength cap is 19. And if you cap his strength in Path of Radiance, he has 18 strength. He also just doesn't need transfer bonuses because he's already really good. But yeah, he has 16 strength compared to a 19 cap. Maybe you're thinking of Ulki? RD Ulki. 14 strength. No, Ulki's got less strength. Damn, Janaf is just, like, better than Ulki in both games, ain't he? Yeah. God, Radiant Dawn, Janaf, and Ulki are good. When we eventually play Radiant Dawn, I'll be able to glaze them. Alright, let's do these preps. Alright, first things first. We are forced... Zehark, Lathe are forced. I'm definitely bringing Tanith and Raisin. This is our squad. There's not even a Shannon replacement generic sniper. No Brave Bow. This is so sad. What about the wrist transfer bonus where he just caps magic? I'll be honest, it sounds like you might be preoccupied with caps a little bit too much. I think Fire Emblem fans love the green glowy number, but fail to consider that, like, being 2 away from a cap is still really strong. I also think people exaggerate the importance of transfer bonuses. I don't think it's worth using bad units in Path of Radiance just to get transfer bonuses in Radiant Dawn. You know, the Radiant Dawn units were designed with their stats in mind. Like, the little bonus you get is nice, but it's more of like a cute nice than anything. And the units who appreciate transfer bonuses the most are not the ones who, like, cap their stats off of it. It's the ones who hit specific thresholds. So, like, for example, Gifka is the one people talk about because it's free. Gifka automatically gets transfer bonuses if you choose him, and it actually puts him over a speed, or I think it puts him over a strength threshold. For specific damage numbers that you want on the final boss. I think Ileana and Nephany are the 2 biggest beneficiaries of transfer bonuses. Because Nephany, if she gets strength and speed transfers, she can actually double things on her join map with her garbage steel Great Lance. And Ileana appreciates speed. It lets her hit some extra doubling thresholds. So both of them, neither of them are phenomenal units, but they're both, like, on the edge of getting some double thresholds, right? Meanwhile, Riss, right? Riss, Janaf, they're gonna function basically the same, whether or not you give them transfer bonuses. Especially the ones who cap their stats with transfer bonuses. Like, Riss has a phenomenal magic growth, right? He was gonna cap his magic in 2 levels anyway. So who cares if he starts with it capped? Unless you're doing, like, a 0% run. In which case it might come up for some niche situations. I just don't see it being relevant. I like that the transfer bonuses exist. I think they're cool. But it is also a bit of a pet peeve of mine when the sort of... the argument of, like, you should use this unit because they'll get transfer bonuses comes up for, like, Har, which is very funny, because, like, yes, if there's any unit in Radiant Dawn that needs help, it's Har. But I've seen a lot of people say, like, you should use Har in Path of Radiance, even though he's mid, because of the transfer bonuses, right? Jill is another one who appreciates it, but you should use Zill in Path of Radiance because she's good. Like, just use her because she's good, right? Imagine forcing yourself to use Soth for transfer bonuses. Imagine doing that and then, like, realizing that his transfer bonuses are bad. Alright, I've got fucking base level Zehark. I could give him bonus experience. I think it might be funnier. It might be funnier just to use him without BXP, right? See what he can do? Stefan benched so that fucking Zehark and Mia and Leif can make an appearance. Riss can just bonus experience to get other stats faster? Okay, but why are we BXPing Riss to get a stat other than magic? What is Riss doing for you other than staffing? Bro gets one-rounded by enemies in his join chapter. He's not a combat unit, he's a staffer. I think honestly, and this is true of Mist as well, I think Riss and Mist are oftentimes underrated because they can use non-staff weapons. Because people see, oh, Riss has tomes at base. He can do combat. Oh, he got one-rounded and he dies. He's shit. Oh, Mist can use, she has a personal sword. Oh, she does 0 times 2 because her strength is shit. But they're just pure staffers. Which, like, because of Radiant Dawn's weird staff mechanics, is fine because it's not like you can, you know, equip a weapon while staffing anyway. Because stabs get equipped. It appears the Crimean army has arrived. It's time to put our plan into action. The main body of the Kilvis army will wait atop the western summit. A small unit will remain here and cooperate with you. This is correct, is it not? It is. What could His Majesty be thinking? Why does Dane ally herself with some backwater subhuman nation? I don't know. There's no way we can expect to understand the supreme thoughts of the king. All we can do is to perform his tasks and set out before us His Highness. That is everything. Yes, of course. Crimean army has no idea we're aware of their every move. Ugh, what vermin. What does that untrained group of vagabonds think they can do? I don't care how talented he is. Their commander is nothing more than a young mercenary with delusions of grandeur. We've nothing to fear. We'll show them what the real war is like. And the Kilvis Ravens? How should we deal with them? Those subhuman freaks. Let's use them as bait. We can sacrifice them and reduce our own human casualties. A fantastic idea. Make sure that the men are thoroughly instructed. Yes, sir. It's funny because the Ravens are usually the last ones I kill because they're in the very fucking back. Come to me, Dregs of Crimea. I'll teach what it means to oppose the might of Dane. I wonder what game has the worst staffs. I personally think it's Path of Radiance. I think Path of Radiance has the worst staffs because units don't really need staffing in Path of Radiance. Like, most of your characters are not really in danger of dying. The only movement staff you get is... Rescue, which you get very late and only has 3 uses. So I think Path of Radiance, just off the top of my head, Path of Radiance is my pick for the game with the worst staffing. I think staffers are mid-B tier in most games. I think it depends. I do think staffer out of 10 is a good rule, though. You know, it's a good rule of thumb. I do also think there are some games, like in Path of Radiance, right? I think you want 1 staff user. I think you have diminishing returns. You know, the extra staff users are less useful as you get more of them, right? Whereas, like, a game like FE12 or Thracia, where staffs are really, really strong, you want more staffers, right? A healer is a discount healer because it saves a player's turn. Oh, you mean as opposed to, like, compared to, like, vulneraries? Yeah, at the very least, a heal staff is better. Like, it saves a turn as compared to, like, vulneraries or whatever. But I think, again, it depends on the game. In Path of Radiance, your units don't even often end up spending turns with vulneraries, right? I know a lot of people get insecure about leaving characters at low HP. Which is why people will often, like, push back against, strategies that rely on things like Vantage and Wrath or whatnot. But it is worth noting that, like, the only point of HP that matters is the last one, right? You don't get, well, you know, unless you're using Emblem Veronica, you don't get any sort of bonus for having... Maybe I should move the bow bros. Yeah, let's move the bow bros this way, actually. They'll do their bow actions. Oh, I forgot to give you bows, didn't I? Did I give... I didn't give either of them bows. We'll just trade. Worth noting, right? Most of the time, having excess HP doesn't actually help you. Doesn't help that Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn are enemy phase galore. I mean, I've made a video about why I think the enemy phase, player phase label is unhelpful, shall we say? And now it's kind of just people trying to say easy and hard without saying the words easy and hard, which is why people insist that Conquest is a player phase game, despite enemy phase strategies being significantly stronger than player phase ones, right? But I also think it depends on the, like, in Path of Radiance, I can see it, even though, again, I don't really like the terminology. I can see why someone would come to that conclusion. Radiant Dawn, definitely misinformed. Both because, one, it's a hard game, right? But two, it's very map dependent. If you try to operate primarily on enemy phase during, like, the early Dawn Brigade chapters, for example, you're gonna get your ass kicked. Which is also part of why people are like, but Micaiah's a bad unit! I put her in range of 17 enemies, and she died because mages are frail! What the fuck? But, like, the Dawn Brigade chapters, the early Dawn Brigade chapters and the late Dawn Brigade chapters, you operate primarily on player phase, right? Taking care of enemies when you can. Because even Nolan, like, Nolan is, like, your bulkiest early Dawn Brigade member, and he gets, like, 2 or 3 rounded by every enemy, right? Oh my god, she's awful! Okay. We're using our fucking Dancer to get a kill on Mist. Meanwhile, then, right, you get, like, Grail Mercenary chapters. Well, again, it depends, right? 3-1 is a Fog of War route map that you need to be very aggressive on. You need to utilize both player and enemy phase, because there's a timer. If you run out of time, you get game over. So you gotta utilize player and enemy phase very aggressively to get as many kills as you can, while minimizing the amount of, like, wasted turns. That is a map where Riss and Mist are pulling so much weight, because anytime, like, Shannon needs to use a vulnerary, that's a wasted kill. That's a wasted turn, right? And you only get 10 turns to route that map. Meanwhile, something like Alincia's Gambit, right? Or not Alincia's Gambit, the 3-9, the map where Alincia is in the middle surrounded by green units, very enemy phase focused map, I would argue. It's an awakening map, right? Big empty field route map. Oh fuck, I forgot Volk. forgot there's treasure chests on this map. Because it's an outdoor map! Who expects an outdoor treasure chest? Playing 4-4 and Ike is still killing things with Ragnar and enemy phase. Yeah. So part 4, big giant route maps. Like that's another shift, right? After you've done like big player phase stuff with the Dawn Brigade and like 313 and whatnot, then you get into part 4 where you have 5 giant route maps in a row. Who are we benching for Volk? Let's save money. I get the feeling I'm gonna have to pay for shitty fucking forges for a while. Let's save some money. Boyd. I'm still on 3-E enemy phase. It hasn't ended. Oh, I mean, it has long enemy phases, but I think there's a difference between long enemy phases and, like, the enemy phase being... Because the argument people make, right, is you do the majority of your combat on either player or enemy phase, and that's what determines a player-enemy phase game. And I would argue that that is not true most of the time. And that even when it is true, people like misattribute them. Again, Conquest frequently gets labeled a quote-unquote player phase game simply because it's difficult. But like the most centralizing strategies in that game are all enemy phase focused, right? Ninja shit. Lining up archers, Nas tank, Odin, that sort of stuff, right? Every time I try to finish it, Radiant Dawn, it's too long and I get bored. Yeah, that's a mood. That's a mood. Like, you're not even wrong. Radiant Dawn, I love Radiant Dawn, but like, it's Radiant Dawn. I was talking to someone the other day, and I was saying, you know, Radiant Dawn would be my favorite Fire Emblem game if it weren't such a piece of shit, right? It's such a flawed video game in a lot of ways, but it's still like top 3 for me. It's my second favorite if we count Fates as a single unit, but if we're counting Conquest and Rev separately, then it's third favorite, because I do like them better than Radiant Dawn. So many baffling decisions. One day I want to make a video about why I like Radiant Dawn so much, and sort of the, I guess, weirdness of... I love Radiant Dawn, but I'm not going to pretend it's, like, not a deeply, deeply flawed game. I need to go in a sec, but I have good news and a question about pronouns. What's up? I love Fate's gameplay, but I'm a story player and the story is so bad. Yeah, that's a mood. That's a whole ass mood. For me, it depends. I mean, I obviously in the 2K situation, right? I think it's best if both story and gameplay are good. I used to say, and I think in general, I would prefer a game with a bad story to a game with bad gameplay. But I also think it's more complicated than just the binary choose one or the other. Because, and I guess doing my Final Fantasy marathon has sort of been what solidified that for me. Because, Final Fantasy IV, I've only played 1 through 4 so far, right? But Final Fantasy IV is definitely my favorite by far. But, like, it's because it has the best story, right? I think the gameplay for all 4 of the first Final Fantasy games, the ones that I've played, actually pretty bad in all the cases. I would say that they all are, from a purely gameplay perspective, I would say none of them are really worth playing. Or at the very least, you know, second screen it, right? Play Final Fantasy 1 while you're watching a Netflix show or some shit. But if you value both gameplay and story, right? Final Fantasy IV's story is something fucking else. I am 3, 4, pull it up. So far I've recorded open project, the Final Fantasy IV video. It's gonna take a long time to load. Alright, so far about 3.5 hours into the video, not even done yet, and it's all just talking about the story, because there's so much there. And that's, you know, that's something, right? That's fucking something. The story of Final Fantasy VI blows previous games out of the water. I'm not there yet, you know, I'll see when I get there. And like, you know, as I'm going deep into Final Fantasy IV's story, it's not a perfect story. In fact, I feel like I've spent more time talking about the flaws than anything else. But it is, I think, fucking foundational. I sort of look at it something like Citizen Kane or like Jaws or whatever, where like, regardless of how you might think they hold up to a modern audience watching it today, they changed filmmaking forever just by existing. And I think, you know, not to say that Final Fantasy IV's story is as good as Jaws, right? But I think the same idea of, like, a lot of the stuff that it sort of established in, like, the gameplay story, integration, just even the idea of a game having a narrative more complex than Mario's Gotta Rescue Princess Toadstool is, you know, it's a big deal. Good news, I figured out what I may change my name to. Oh, that's exciting. What are you gonna, well, I mean, not to dox you. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. But I was gonna say, what do you want to change your name to? That shove was useless, because if Soth goes forward, he just ends up fucking dead. Do you have a bow? You have a bow. Maybe I should have brought Volk. I could have stolen a bow. Yeah, no, I made the classic blunder. Of, if I had brought Volk, I could have stolen that bow, right? Fuck. I actually lost money on this exchange. I finally beat Revelations on Lunatic for the first time, and it's thanks to your unit reviews. Thank you so much. Aw, that's good to hear. I'm glad you like them. Congratulations, Cask, by the way, on the name change. Good night, Danny. Good night, Cynthia. You know what? We'll do another reset. We'll do Volk instead of Soth. Also, I keep forgetting to turn battle animations on. Or battle animations off. They got paid for 17. And I guess you got extra because I forgot to turn them off. Battle animations are boss as fuck. I think they look pretty fucking bad, but you know, it's, you know, personal preference, right? I've been thinking for a while, and I feel like Nico is a good fit. It's the name of an artist I like, as well as a character I relate to. Also, can you read my question? Did you have a question? I see some people list their pronouns as she, they, and others as they, she. Is there any significance to the order in which people list their pronouns? I'm sure some people have significance to it. I don't. But you know, I can't speak for everyone. I totally didn't steal mine from Sailor Moon. Did you name yourself Sailor? Okay, Shovaroo. Base level Z-Hark will do something, I promise. But that something is probably just gonna be shoving. I mean, I'm gonna try to get him some kills. He's force deployed. Honestly, base level Z-Hark getting force deployed has thrown a wrench in my plans. Hello, Tuxedo. Oh my god, I can't direct him in the mountains, I forgot. So obnoxious, you can't direct the flyers into the mountains. Boom, a shove. I think to a common person, it might indicate which one you're more comfortable with. I mean, that's not... I'm not more comfortable with one or the other. Yeah, I prefer people use both, to be honest. I feel like, you know, oftentimes... A frustration that I run into is from binary people is the erasure of part of the gender stuff. I feel like most often it is people will just use she, her, because that's quote-unquote more normal, because it's, you know, the binary option. Alternatively, sometimes people will just use they, them. I forgot to give fucking Volk anything. I forgot to empty his inventory, too. Alternatively, though, sometimes people will only use they, them if they're, like, transphobic and don't want to use she, her. Which is frustrating in a different way. But I find that, you know, allies, in quotes or whatever, or, you know, binary trans people or whatever, will often default to she and just exclusively use that, which is kind of obnoxious. Volk should just steal a knife. Yeah. If only we could just steal the knife. I mean, honestly, him not having a weapon is fine. What, is he doing fucking combat? I don't think so. But yeah, you know, it depends on the person, obviously. I'm sure for some people there's an order, an importance to the order. No, I was trying to set up a kill for her. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Boom! Missed gaming. Missed good. Missed combat for real, for real. Missed got more kills than Mia on this map. No, Mia's gotten a kill already. Badonkers. Badonkers. Holy moly. Rip King, did Rolf die? No, Tormod's dead. That's why he's on the thumbnail. But don't worry, we still made him a personal weapon. Meanwhile. Holy shit, never mind, he never loses. Holy shit, never mind, he never loses. Effective damage. Hey, who needs 3 times effectiveness when you just fucking crit? Smiley face. I forgot to steal the bow because I'm an idiot. I forgot to steal the iron bow. We can steal this guy's mend staff. And this guy's thunder, probably. Mend, elixir. Yeah, we can steal some stuff. Did this game has 2 times effective damage in the Japanese version too? Yes. It's not like FE7 where it was a translation choice. Like, it's just always 2 times for some reason. I don't know why. If you go here... That hit rate, though. That hit rate, though. There we go. Accuracy doesn't matter. OMG, reliability pilled. Danny said accuracy doesn't matter. Ravens. They betray not only me, but all Lagoos. They saw you dastard. Fun fact, if you deploy Janaf or Ulki, they also have unique dialogue on this map, which is pretty cool. This map is also just a lot less eventful because Shinon died in Chapter 7, so there's like nothing going on now. I think it was informed by the devs thinking effectiveness was too strong in Sacred Stones, but don't quote me on that, I could be lying. Well, okay, so Sacred Stones, it's funny you mentioned Sacred Stones because Sacred Stones had that interesting thing where all the S-rank weapons dealt effective damage, but it was only 2 times effective. Regular effective damage was 3 times effective, but the S-rank weapons effectiveness was 2 times effective, right? So I think they were, you know, both with 7, 8, and 9, kind of experimenting with the idea of 2 times effective. Effective damage has actually, you know, it's 3 times now in sort of the modern era. That's sort of the stable where it landed. But effective damage has always been kind of weird in that, like, when it first showed up, it was in Arcanea, where it was 3 times, right? But then, I think it works differently in Gaiden. Don't quote me on that, but I might be wrong. And then, in FE4, effective damage just is an automatic critical hit. And then in Thracia, it's back to 3 times. And it's that way in FE6, but then FE7, it's, well, depending on the version, whether it's English or Japanese, right? Oh, 4 times dance. Okay. We gotta set up a 4 times dance. Do you have a staff to steal? You have thunder to steal. Alright, we kill our lance here. This is where we set up our 4 times dance. But yeah, I do think it's kind of interesting how effective damage has sort of evolved over time. I gotta start driving, be back later. See ya, thanks for popping by. The old car stream can't type deal. Move you over here. So I think we have Mist goes, or Jill goes here. Jill javelins this guy, and then Kanta's up, and that'll be the 4th of the super dance. I mean, they are 16 might weapons, and they're effective against the entire late game. Yeah, that is fair. Like, I mean, they one-shot most monsters even without 3 times effectiveness, so it's not like 2 times is like... Aside from niche situations, 2 times is not like as big a downside as you might think, but I do think it's it's interesting, at least, right? That, like, they operate on different rules. And the, is it Ivaldi is the light one, right? That actually overwrites Slayer. Because Slayer makes all light tomes 3 times effective for bishops, right? And Ivaldi actually takes priority over Slayer. So, I believe Aura is technically a stronger weapon in the hands of a bishop than Ivaldi is. But it doesn't matter because both of them one-shot most monsters. Like, it really only matters for the case of, like, the Demon King or, like, big Cyclops with, like, massive HP. Most of the time, it just doesn't matter at all. But it's still a fun factoid, if nothing else. It'd be funny if that happened because they were scared that it was sometimes gonna roll over into 6x. I think that would be very cool if the effectiveness stacked. I think that would be very cool. Like, Pokemon does that, right? Where, you know, if you're super effective against rock and you're super effective against ground, right? Grass does 4 times the Geodude instead of just 2. And, like, we can see in competitive Pokemon, like, the power of multipliers, right? Urshifu in the rain type deal. I gotta go to bed, try not to die. Thanks! You also try not to die. Beds are dangerous. You know, more people die in bed per year than on the surface of Mars. So from this I can conclude it's actually safer to go on an expedition to Mars than it is to go to bed. We do not talk about Urshifu in the rain. It's super duper effective. I always wished it said super duper effective as a kid. I think it should say super duper effective. I think it should. Okay, we're gonna set up a dance here too. Heal Joe. I know it's not super duper and it makes me depressed. In Champions, it's getting a special message for Ooh, really? But it's not super duper, so it's therefore bad. That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. How could the woke mob do this to us? It might say ultra or hyper. That would be cool. And honestly, like, even, you know, obviously it's the vibes, right? Like, super duper just feels cool. But I genuinely think that Pokemon as a franchise is aimed for kids. I think it would be good to communicate to kids that way, right? Like, show them, you know, if you're a stupid little kid, right? And your Pokemon has like a grass move and a fighting move, right? If you're Breloom versus Geodude, being able to see as a stupid little kid that the fighting move is good, but the grass move is better? You know, it's something. I think it would be nice for, like, you know, dumb little kids. Dry Skin Parasect versus a fire move. It's ultra super duper effective. At that point, the text should just say it's a war crime. It intuitively teaches the mechanics. Yeah. Because, like, as big-brained adults, we can figure out, oh, if it's super against rock and super against ground, it's extra super. But, like, I don't think it's unreasonable to be like, kids might not know that. If your franchise is aimed for 8-year-olds, you gotta make it accessible to 8-year-olds, is all I'm saying. Okay, so we can reach here, so this is the square we want to get our dance on. Waves and winds giving me hope. I'm jealous. It looks really fucking bad to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, look, Pokemon sort of lost my faith with Gen 9. The Wombo Combo 1-2 punch of Scarlet and Violet followed by ZA, I don't have faith, you know? But, Winds and Waves didn't do anything to restore that faith, you know? I want to be excited for Pokemon. That starter trio, which is really the only info we got, other than, like, it's an island setting, which we already knew. Well, the Terra Leak knew, right? That starter trio just looks really uninspired. Pombon, you know, as a Pomeranian, cool, we get a dog, right? Like, that's good, but I don't know. The new Pikachus look cool. It's just costume Pikachu again. You know, we did that already. I don't think they look particularly good. I don't think they look as bad as I've seen some people say. I saw fucking... someone left like a comment, a fucking essay on, because I made my poll about like, how do you feel about Winds Waves, right? And I had the options ranging from hype to trash, right? Can Titania just kill this person? Yes, okay. That's how we do it then. And I had someone leave an essay about how, like, they're changing the world by yelling at people online, and how, like, the existence of Pokemon is, like, a mortal crime onto humanity, and they need to help people see the sacred light to escape the Pokemon prison, and just ridiculous, like, self-righteous BS. I let them get too close. Wrath Scroll, baby. I'm definitely not pre-ordering. Yeah, I mean, even games that I like, I don't pre-order. I think pre-ordering is a blight upon society. We've let it get too normalized, the pre-order of it all. Like, I don't pre-order even games that I know I'm buying day one. I don't pre-order. Like Bonanza, right? I streamed Bonanza, you know, midnight release. I didn't pre-order that because, like, I think pre-order culture is bad. But I've decided that, like, you know, Pokemon fans are obnoxious, right? The sort of Pokemon, like the Pokemon can do no wrong style fan, right? However, I think I've decided that I actually hate Pokemon anti-fans, like performative anti-fans, more than the Game Freak copers, the Game Freak defenders. I think the essay I received about how the costume Pikachus are AI generated and proof that Pokemon is destroying society convinced me that, like, the performative haters are, and I say this as, I would say a hater, like, I would say I'm a hater. I don't want to be, you know, I fucking grew up with Pokemon. I would like to not be a hater of this franchise that I used to love, but, you know, I like a lot of things in this world, and it's just, unfortunately, not all of them are gonna happen. Pokopia is really cool. I cannot justify paying $70 for that game. I mean, first off, it's not a genre that I would play anyway, but my wife would, right? The crafty thing. It's like an Animal Crossing, like, right? It looks really fucking cute. Like, I'm not gonna say it doesn't look cute. It's getting good reviews as well, although, you know, that can't be trusted because the Pokemon nostalgia sort of, I think that reviews tend to trend way more positive on Pokemon games than anything else. But, like, I think the bit that fucking floored me when I learned it was $70. I expected it to be an under $60 title. Like, absolute fucking insanity that it is $70 and only a game keycard. It's $70 and you can't even buy a real physical version. $70 for a game key card. Fucking absurdity. Game key cards, it frustrates me so much because in a like better world than the one we live in, game key cards would actually be a positive thing. Because it would be basically a digital game that you can sell. Like a used version of a digital game, right? In theory, I mean, first off, they should be cheaper than an actual physical game because they're not actually physically there. But like, if the games corporations hadn't killed the used games market, right? Then game key cards would be awesome. Because you could get a game digitally and then resell it. Or you could buy it used, right? But we live in the world where publishers managed to convince everyone that GameStop was killing gaming. And so now there's no used games market. So there's no reason for game key cards to exist. Other than to be a fucking scam, right? What ways can I create varied gameplay in a Fire Emblem ROM hack with 3 lords? I know you have thoughts about FE7 and FE6, so I was hoping you would have insight into my ROM hack. I mean, I made a whole video about FE7. I don't think having 3 lords is a downside, though. I went very in-depth as to my issues about what I don't like about FE7, but none of them are, It's not having 3 lords. I think the 3 lords is probably the best creative idea that game had from a gameplay perspective. And of course, from a story perspective, they're some of the greatest characters in Fire Emblem. Especially Hector. Hector's such a fucking good character. Like, probably the best written lord in the franchise. I fucking love Hector. It's just like a brilliant examination of how men are hurt by toxic masculinity, right? Like, he's great. Make the Lord seize a staff unit. I mean, actually, I think if you're making a game with 3 Fire Emblem Lords, seize maps where the Lords can seize, and maybe there's multiple seize points, right? Like, hey, we need to take these 2 castles, right? And so you split your Lords up and have 1 seize each castle. Bells of Balin does something like that, actually, now that I think of it. In the Hay map. Where you gotta talk to people. You gotta, like, seize one area and talk on another. And so the Lords have to split up. Basically, because there's a turn limit, right? If you don't do it within 12 turns or something, you game over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we go here. Make sure you don't do an FE8 moment where one storyline is clearly the intended route if you do a route split. I don't think FE8 has any clearly intended route. I think FE8's story really works best if you play both routes, like, and see both sides of things. God, why is my whole army strength screwed? Even fucking level 17 Jill, 15 strength. What the fuck is going on, right? I wish Lynn was actually an archer. That's why we need an FE7 remake. FE7 but not shit edition. Coming soon. The chapter 15 boss quotes are better in Erica. That's a matter of opinion. That's a matter of opinion. You know, if you go Erica route, then you don't get to see how Grado falls, right? Grado's the antagonist for 2/3 of the story. I don't think you can say that that's the intended route when you don't see what happens to the antagonist for 2/3 of the story, right? You don't get to see the King of Grado fall. If she had swords and bows while unpromoted, she'd be so much more cool. Yeah, unfortunately not, like, a better unit, but a cooler one for sure. I just said that those quotes, it's weird how the quotes are route exclusive. Yeah, someone else said that one of the routes is clearly canonical, so that's what I was responding to. I have 3 lords on 3 sides of a map, and all 3 use swords, and I don't want to make them feel samey between the 3 routes. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think you can do that if all 3 of them are sword users. Unless you're making very extensive use of, like, skills? I guess it depends on how much you're doing skills, but I think if all 3 of them are lords that use the same weapon type, I think there's going to be some very easy pitfalls to fall into. The first is they'll all feel very samey because they're all sword lords, right? But the second is other sword units are going to feel underwhelming. Because if you already have 3 units you're forced to use that use swords, they get the best swords, right? Other sword units are going to need to have a lot going for them to stand out in that environment. And so I would say if you're doing a multi-lord thing, damn it, she crit. I wanted to feed that kill to Marcia. If you're doing a multi-lord thing, I would encourage you to give them very different toolkits, which means different weapons in Fire Emblem. Because by far that's the biggest distinctive feature. Unless you don't want there to be any other sword users in the game, I would say having 3 sword lords is a mistake. Even 2 with Lyn and Elliewood feels excessive. Because they're both the frail swordies. They're both frail swordies. General, we've seized control of the surrounding area, and the remaining Dane troops are retreating. General? Oh, right, I understood. Beg your leave. General, huh? Weird. You know, you never look relaxed. Nasir, what's going on? We haven't seen much of you lately. I've been a bit busy. In order to leave Bagnion, I had to sell my ship and dismiss the crew. There was a lot to take care of. Is that so? Looks like you've been caught up in our struggle after all. Are you alright with that? I mean, I know that you've got a lot of your own matters to handle. It's not like I've abandoned my own interests to join up the Crimean army. For me, I've judged there's value in traveling with you, so don't worry overly much about it. If you say so. You're a fairly knowledgeable fellow, so it's nice having you around. I think it's mutual. Now then, I've got some good news. What is it? Senior officials in Gallia are moving to action. Until now, they've been content to take a defensive stance and wait it out, but it appears this never-ending stalemate has exhausted their patience. Ike, this victory here was a very important thing. It may prove a decisive first step in breaking Dane's power. News of it will spread like wildfire over the entire continent, and it gives countries confidence to speak out against Dane. With Crimea as a rallying point, Gallia may well be moved to join this war. You just need to keep winning. If you can do that, the road will open up before you. History will be made. Could Dane truly fall at our hands? Can I make that happen? Me? Use what you've been given, and great things will happen. You have it in you to lead Ike. For now, it's merely one portion of the bird tribes, but your relationship is established. It's because you resolved to gain their trust and made it happen. It's all due to my father. If my actions prove to be the right ones, it'll be due to the way my father raised me. If you treat others in good faith, they will follow you of their own volition. That's what he taught me. He was a magnificent man, wasn't he? When I was younger, I wanted nothing more than to be as strong as my father. And then I wanted to surpass him. Now that's a goal I'll never achieve. Don't worry, Ike. This Nasir guy surely isn't going to steal the medallion. What's that? The board has been breached? Everyone is defeated. Not only the Dane troops, but our brigade as well. Cut down like wheat in a field. Well, it was impressively done. Yeah, for a band of sellswords, that is. There's nothing else to do. Send a message to the Dane command to tell them the enemy is stronger than expected. At once. Wait, hold a moment. Yes? Send a Dane human instead. I don't care which one. Just don't use any of our troops. But a wingless human will take such a long time to... General Petrine commands the next front. She's a very temperamental woman. But go if you like. Tell her that the Kilvis Ravens have been defeated. She'll roast you like a chicken and use your bones for stock. Understood. I'll find a human. Who's there? Soren? What are you doing here? What are you planning? Where did that come from? I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't play dumb with me. We're past that. Gallia's decision to join this war was based on some new information they received, wasn't it? Cat got your tongue? Fine. I'll tell you what you've been doing here. You were to deliver Princess Crimea to Begnion to see if she could garner any support for her cause. And, regardless of whether she got that assistance or not, to judge if she was worthy of Legu's support. Am I wrong? You figured all this out. Why remain silent? Because your actions are beneficial to Princess Crimea. I determined that even if I left you to your own devices, you would not harm the princess. Sounds like you don't think that's the case anymore. You accomplished both missions, but you've come back anyway. To what end? I don't have to explain myself to you. That's true, only until I reveal your purpose to Ike. Everyone has a secret or two that he wants to bury somewhere deep, including you, Soren. I don't know what you mean. Oh, I trust that we can understand each other. I suggest... The army rises early tomorrow. I suggest we turn in. The enemy knew we were coming today. And do you think I'm responsible? Yes, I do. Oh my, oh my. You really are suspicious, aren't you? Good night, Soren. Does anyone else think about how weird it is that there are generic player-aligned NPCs in cutscenes? No! We're leading a large army, right? It makes sense that not everyone in our squad, like, not everyone in our army is part of our squad. I think it works best that way. I like how 3 houses gave the battalions to characters so that everyone has, like, it feels like it's a larger army and you're just controlling the commanders, the officers. Princess Elincia's newly formed Crimean army, with Ike as its commander, marches to Torgarden and claims its first victory. Torgarden is a vast wall guarding Dane's border, manned by battalions of well-trained soldiers. It was long thought impenetrable. Yet, the strength of the Crimean army, under General Ike's leadership, far outstrips Dane expectations, and Torgarden falls. Learning of Gallia's increasing interest in the war, Ike wastes no time ordering his troops further into the heart of Dane. The gears of history, which had come to a halt at the fall of Crimea, slowly creak to life once more. The units in FE are meant to be representations of a larger army. I don't think that's true either. I think it's just like, you know, we're just one part of the army. Outside of 3 houses, I don't think a single unit represents more than one person. Nay, Sala, King Naysala of Kilvas, I would speak with you now. Oh, if it isn't General Petrine. What brings you up these frosty mountain peaks? I have no time for pleasantries. Is it true? Has Crimea army breached Torgaren? Though I am loath to report it, this appears to be the case. Catching you worthless dog. Being defeated by that girl's motley band just proves how useless he was. Surely it's not the general's fault alone. He was told that the Crimea army was weak and that Torgaren was impregnable. And yet, he was defeated. I'd say someone severely underestimated our enemy, wouldn't you? What was that? Do you dare to insult Dane, Crow? Men have forfeited their lives for less. Insult Dane, never. Come now, General Petrine, I'm merely stating the facts. Regardless of the previous battle's outcome, Crimea's army will be stopped here. I'll be taking the field myself. Sounds like you've set a great stage for the grand performance. General Petrine, Kilvis will always stand at Dane's side. As long as we receive our payment, of course. If gold is all it takes, then may our friendship never end. See to it your performance warrants such consideration. Hamasa, come here. Yes. Work with King Kilvis and put a stop to Crimea's army. No screw-ups, or else. Leave it to me, General. I will not suffer another failure, King Kilvis. You must finish them and do so quickly. Are we clear? I'm sick to death of being made a fool by Crimean Floozy and her pathetic band of sellswords. And the remaining portion of my fee? Don't worry, we have it ready. You'll get paid when the job is done. As long as we're clear on that point, everything's settled. Well, then I'm off. Dog's breath. Even by half-breed standards, those crows are complete scum. Give that one the smallest opening and he'll steal the eyes from your skull. Put on trust with you, wretch. MVP Jill spent 10,000 gold all on that fucking Tormod Forge. All right, gotta give Mia the needle now. It is max crit min might iron. Yeah, so this is the triangle attack combo. What do you guys think? Are we gonna be able to perform a new special attack? I think we might. I was looking through some old scrolls on fighting techniques, and I found one that looks perfect. Awesome! Nice work! What is it? What is it? Come on, tell us how it works! Well, if we want to learn it, there's some things we have to do. Ah, dang. I hope it's not all technical, because I won't be able to keep up. Just summarize it, will you? I can do that. Alright, the most important thing is we all have to use the same weapon. So, if all three of us can use a bow, that'll be one problem out of the way. A bow? You and I have to use bows? Boyd, are you even listening to me? Yes, we all have to use the same weapon. That's part of the deal. Crud. Nothing we can do about it, I guess. You better not slow us down, Rolf, you little brat. Stop calling me a brat. I'm a better archer than you. If anyone slows us down, it'll be you, Boyd. What did you say I'm gonna? Knock it off, Boyd. Your skills with a bow aren't as polished as Rolf's. Anyone can see that. Which means that even if Rolf has some natural skill, whoever taught him the fundamentals was an expert archer. Yeah, I know. He just keeps blabbering this nonsense about how he taught himself. I did teach myself. I'm a prodigy. Well, judging by your stance and the way you hold a bow, I think we all know the real story. Huh? What is it? What's the real story? Oscar, no! A story that Rolf's lucky to have a genius like me for a brother, that's what. Stop messing around. This is getting stupid. Whew. What are you guys talking about? Three of you have been huddled up here for a while now. What are you scheming? Hi, Ike! Scheming is such an ugly word. We're just... hey, Ike, we're working on this special I forgot something! Sorry about that, Ike. He's been acting a bit odd these days. Really? It seems like you're the odd one of the bunch. Sure, alright. Do us a favor, though, and make sure all three of us are in the next battle. Sure, I guess that's fine, but why? It's a surprise, that's all. We'll show you later. I'm sure you'll like it. Come on! Can't be standing around all day. Let's go. Oscar, Rolf? Special man? Man. Mandolin? Manicotti? Manifesto? Who cares? Special man? You mean Soren? Bye, see you later. Oh, missed. Watch your step, it's slippery. Whoa! Missed. I landed right on my butt. This snow's cold. Be careful. Alrighty. Hey, watch, Jill. I'm gonna make a snow angel. Whee! It must be nice to be so cheerful. Jill. Who's there? It's me. Captain Har, but this is an enemy camp. I've been trying to track you down ever since you disappeared in Toha. Figured you were off chasing after the Crimeans. Never imagined you'd wind up joining with them. At first it was just circumstance, but now it's different. Now I'm with them because I want to be. Spending time with them and coming into contact with Laguz has shown me what a fool I've been. Laguz? Never thought I'd hear that word from someone who once said subhuman with such absolute hatred. Sounds like you've had a good experience with a happy little band. I knew that if anyone would understand, it'd be you, Captain. So you're forming your own set of values for the first time. That's good. That's very, very good. What are you planning to do now? If you keep moving forward, you're going to have to face General Shinaran before long. Causing trouble for my father was never my intent. However, as a member of this army, I will face him with my shoulders held straight and my head held high. So you're determined to see this through? I am. So be it. There's nothing left to be said. Farewell. Next time we meet, it'll be as enemies. Prepare yourself. Get some rest, you know how important it is. Can I talk to you? A few minutes ago, a man I've never seen showed up and spoke to Jill. I wasn't sure what was going on, so I went and found you. What should we do? Whatever they're talking about, it looks serious. Jill trained in the Dane army. Fighting against her countrymen will be tough, no matter how prepared she thinks she is. I don't care what happens. You can't let her fight her own father. All right, Ike? Might not be a bad idea to keep her at base camp just while we're in Dane. That's bad advice, by the way. That's bad advice, by the way. You can field Jill. There's no consequences. Just don't have her talk to her dad. Because that's how she gets recruited into the enemy, if you initiate the convo with her dad. But you can still field her. It's bad advice. The game gave bad advice. I'll take any number of enemies, but this snow is another story. I think my beautiful wings are icing over. Sounds like trouble. You gonna be able to fly? Yes, of course I can fly. These wings aren't for looks, you know. They're made of flesh and blood and feathers. I'm not like some animal that has to hibernate when winter rolls in. Sheesh! Can't you, Bjork, tell the difference between comic exaggeration and serious conversation? Oh, I was supposed to laugh, was I? Sorry about that. Oh my, such sincerity. This is unexpected. It looks like someone taught you manners. By the way, I've been meaning to ask, what are our chances for victory? We're still at an extreme disadvantage. What? That's not the answer I wanted. How did better than that, Bjork General? I'm here. If we lose, how am I going to show him Hasten Phonexus again? We're at a disadvantage, but I don't intend to lose. There's a man in Dane I need to find, and I will be the last thing he ever sees. Well said. I wish you could repeat that to today's younger generation. There are some weaklings back at home that don't even want to call hawks. I'll have to stick them back in their eggs and start over from scratch. You hatch from eggs? Huh? I was speaking figuratively. You know, like a metaphor? You haven't hatched from eggs for many generations now. Silly Bjork. Alright, I'm out of here. I gotta warm up the old wings before battle, or who knows what might happen. I figured that egg thing was a joke, but I had no idea it ever really happened. bird tribes, go figure. Excuse me, you have a moment? Oh, General Ike, what is it? It's nothing really, I just thought I'd say hello. That's considerate. Your king is very generous, isn't he? And it's not just Raisin I'm talking about. He left us 2 retainers as well. How do we pertain to the king's generosity? I guess because Raisin kept apologizing, I just thought that... Am I misinterpreting something? I don't know. But I know that the king can survive without our help. Is that true? It's pretty amazing. I've been given the title of Lord, but I still can't run this army on my own. Titania and Soren handle little details, and that's what keeps us from collapsing into chaos. Our king does nothing special. Everyone just does what is needed. There is no chaos. He's really trusted, isn't he? That's natural. In Laguz society, the strongest become king. Unlike Bjork, kingship is not tied to blood. So we have no weak kings. I'm sorry, perhaps that was improper. No, I agree with you. Choosing a ruler by strength instead of birth makes much more sense. When we face Begnion troops, we target the units with weak leadership and eliminate them first. Bjork weapons can be very powerful, but not everyone wields them well. Since Bjork also choose generals by bloodlines, their competency is uneven, and that is a weakness of Bjork armies. As for you, General Ike, the time to prove yourself is approaching. It's true. No matter how strong the individuals are, the strength is worthless if they're weak as a unit. Yo, weak as a unit! Weak as a unit moment! An army's power comes from leadership and management. That's good to remember, thanks. Alright, Titania, I need to buy... a steel axe for... Oh, no, we have hand axe. Do we have any forges for the next chapter? I already did this map's forge. I'm asking people not to pay for forges until we're on the map. So that, you know, just we get them done when we get them done, right? The fact Birdlaguz went to Ovni position to Viperius is interesting. So, General, there's a lot of enemy soldiers ahead. Mostly Dane, but there's some crows from Kilvis as well. More than our last fight? Yeah, there's a lot. But the most troubling thing is that King Kilvis is with him. The Crow King himself is cooperating with Dane? Yep, and compared to the other crows, King's in a class by himself. Obviously he's no match for our king, but... Anyway, you should move carefully. An entire unit under the command of King Kilvis. I think that bodes ill for us. The outcome of this battle hinges on how we deal with them. Kilvis soldiers, It's a fellow bird tribe, Laguz. What can you tell us about them? Please don't lump us together with those carrion birds. We're not partial to the crows. As you know, we are outmanned by Dane troops. Is there any way to get the ravens to withdraw? That would be tremendous help. Well, suppose if I could go meet with King Kilvis if I had to. I don't think my speaking to him is going to make much difference, though. If you like, we will try, but don't expect anything to come of it. No matter the circumstance, I will never speak to a crow. No matter what we decide, sitting here is giving the enemy more time to prepare. You're right. Come on, let's get moving. Alright. Let's... 13. So, Raisin, Janaf, Boyd, Oscar, Rolf, Tanith, Jill, Miss Titania, Marsha Mia. Probably Kieran for our last slot? Janov, here he is. Force Jill a weapon with max strength, max hit, force deploy her and talk to her dad? You want me to kill off Jill functionally? How much would we need? I mean, that's permanently removing Jill from the army. I'll do it for $50. She's dead. Because not only is that a forge for a character that I'm not allowed to use anymore, but then she's gone. She's gonzo's. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We also lose Har. That's 2 units. Yeah. No, $50. $50. Because that's 2 units out the window. Is this a KMU now? A KMU would be fun. Maybe I should have done it as a KMU. We're a little too late into it. Just get the A support with Mist. Well, unfortunately, nobody has paid for any supports. So I can't do that, actually. Sir, the Crimean army has arrived. I hope they are prepared to pass into oblivion, for this will be the final resting place. Crimean stragglers joined with an army of lone for Begnion. I've heard they even have a betrayer in their midst, and yet they still march on. What an odd group. But as long as Kilva stands inside of Dane, they have no future. I suppose they're just unlucky. It appears the enemy has spotted us. Well, this group is large. It's hard to miss. How will you proceed? No tricks, nothing fancy. We hit him from the front, fast and hard. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but if you don't do something by Kilvis, you're at a disadvantage. Yes, I've heard about the Ravens, but even so, it's not as if we can turn tail and run away. Now that I think on it, King Kilvis and Prince Rayson used to be close friends. Do you ask him to speak to the king? He was most empathic in his refusal. It seems that Naysala was responsible for Rayson's capture at the hands of Duke Tanas. I can't really blame him. And the Hawks? They too are of the bird tribe. Surely there's some connection to be found there. They weren't very excited about the suggestion. You could command them to do it. There's an antagonism between the tribes that we don't understand. I'd rather not force the issue. Trying to coerce them into it would be unfair. I'll let them do as they please. That's so very like you. However, giving orders that are unpopular is often necessary when one is in command, and maybe so. But I can only do the things the best way I know how. My own way. Come, it's time to go. Damn, this is the bad advice chapter, because that's another piece of bad advice. Oh, I forgot to give her the full guard. Alright. We're getting the Night Ring. The Night Ring is actually really fucking easy to get. But a lot of people think it's hard. So, I'm here to guide you. If you're not aware, you get the Night Ring if you can have Naysala talk to Raisin before you kill any crows. The easiest way to do this is just have Naysala talk to Raisin on turn 2. So first you have to bait him. Now Naysala is a very dangerous unit. These are his stats. He one-rounds most characters. But he has the Vortex skill, which lets him cast Wind. Literally the Wind spell. 17 magic, 2 might, that's 19 attack. Even with effective damage, Tanith would survive it, but with the full guard, she takes 6 damage. So you position her in range of Vortex, but not in range of physical attacks. And that baits Naysala to come this way. And that's the job for turn 1. On turn 2, I'm gonna need to have Janaf talk to Naysala. But that's also very easy to do. And so now we just have to keep everyone out of crow range. Which, this guy's really the only one who might accidentally kill himself because he transforms turn 1. So as long as you keep everyone out of his range, it should be fine. Holy shit, I forgot Oscar sucks. I genuinely think this is the only reason Vortex exists. I think you have too much faith in the Path of Radiance design team. I don't think they designed this to be cheat, because like this strategy that I use, it's 100% reliable and Iron Man safe. But it definitely wasn't designed that way. This is meant to be like the hardest challenge of all time, right? So, I think they created Vortex because they thought it would be like, oh, he's a bird, he should cast like windy spells or whatever. Like, I just think they made Vortex to be an ability that was actually used, and it's just useless. Where's Marth? But Mars! It's the reason to exist, not created for this. Oh, Jill's dead. Whoops. I got Jill killed. I didn't pay attention to ballista ranges. This is also why the Sonic Sword is so useful. Because it lets Tanith just kill these wyverns. I mean, maybe she's not in range of that ballista. It's hard to judge ranges because the tiles disappear on the slope, so you can't count them. But look at this. She just, like, shreds these wyverns, right? Dodge? She didn't dodge. Professional Fire Emblem player, by the way. Bruh. Alright, first things first. Sonic Sword, full guard, wait. Do not reinforce on this map because the yellow units will kill the red ravens. But Naesala always moves before the other ravens. So if you can get him to talk to Raisin on turn 2, then you get the Night Ring, basically. So you put Tanith here with the Sonic Sword. Jill couldn't even talk to her dad. It's so tragic. Will you fight Naesala? I mean, technically he's gonna fight us. Isn't there another way to get Naesala to leave the map? I mean, you can kill him. But, like, have you seen his stats? Cause, like, I think most people can't kill him. God damn it, I put Jill in fucking ballista range again. I'm a goddamn idiot. I've never gotten the Night Ring. I killed him both times. I mean, you also don't... No, well, that's not true, actually. Because the Night Ring... So, the way you get the Night Ring... You only get the Night Ring if you don't kill any ravens. So if you haven't gotten the Night Ring, it doesn't mean you killed Naesala. I can virtually guarantee you did not kill Naesala. Just Luna crit? I mean, if you, like, triangle attack with, like, an actual good strength bow user, maybe you can kill him? I can virtually guarantee you did not kill Naesala. I think what happened is you got him to leave the map after you already killed, some ravens. The way that you get the Night Ring is as a bonus if Naesala talks to Raisin without you killing any ravens. But Naesala talking to Raisin always gets him to leave. These are the stats he has before transformation bonuses. He is not impossible to kill, he just retreats if you kill him. There's no, it's not like Veil, right? In Chapter and Engage, enemy Veil is flagged as immortal. But 24 defense, 57 HP, 1 rounds every single unit in your army. Not impossible to kill, but like, come on. I think I was just over Path of Radiance, so I just danced and killed the boss on turn 2. That's the other way you can clear the map without making Naesala leave. And that's how you're supposed to do it if you get the renewal scroll. Because the win condition is to kill this fucker. And he moves as well. Let me just fucking keep Jill out of this range. Definitely worth 3 units, including a dancer. Renewal, the goated skill. Renewal gamers. You gotta know the struggle of renewal gamers. The renewal scroll is so much better than Racin. What's funny is Racin has an HP healing skill. So, like... even if your main concern is like, oh, the healing is goated, the healing is goated. Like... yeah, but Racin heals anyway. He heals adjacent people. Racin... the healing from Racin alone is more than renewal. Even if you never click dance, Racin will do more because he heals more. Which is what's so funny. Class ended just in time to watch Fire Emblem while building Lego. This is the autism afternoon. Hell yeah. But yeah, Sonic Sword Tanith just fucking shreds these wyverns. And then she successfully baits Naysala. What about a soul renewal build? That's actually literally impossible. They don't fit. Soul is 20 capacity. Renewal, I believe, is 10. It might be 5. I might be lying about that. I don't remember. Oh, black wings. Among humans, these are considered bad omens, are they not? Then take these omens as fact and let them herald you to the afterlife. So yeah, here come the crows. Naysala always moves before any other crows, so as long as you talk to him with Janaf or Ulki, we're good. You can kill this, you egg-eating snake! When it's a barn's flock, eh? You were his eyes, if I'm not mistaken. It's not enough that you sold the White Prince to humans, now you're fighting against Lagoos? You Hawks rescued Racin, didn't you? So everything worked out in the end. What's the problem? I'd like you to repeat those words in the prince's face. Racin is here? Here? Why? He supports the Crimean army. The Bjork leading this army helped him to escape Serenus Forest. Helped him? Are you saying that a human came to the aid of Racin, a Lagoose? Yes, and he rescued Princess Leanne, too. Leanne is alive? Don't play the fool. You know the life of the forest has returned. That was their power at work. Ah, I see. That's how the forest, of course. Listen up, Crow. You need to fly over there and talk to the prince. If you don't do it, I'm gonna know that you are the real enemy and I'll report back to King Debarm. Think it over. What to do? What to do? So anyway, this is what a forecast looks like against Naysala using the beak. But thankfully, I can do a special trick to untransform? So Tanith can rescue him to safety away from the ballistas. Now, Naesala has 8 move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if Raisin is in this spot, Naesala can talk to him. He helped the prince escape Serenus forums. There we go. We killed the steel sword. Just don't get crit. Rolf, archers are supposed to be accurate. You know, people say that, but they really aren't, to be honest. Did you go the bow Oscar build? Yeah, I need footage of the triangle attack, so I went bow Oscar. Plus, triangle attacks are fun. You know, it's suboptimal, but it's fun. We're just doing a chill playthrough anyway. Who's your favorite Laguz? Laith. Because she's the good one. She's the only one that's good. But I do really like using the Laguz band to untransform. It's a neat bit of tech. In most games, archers aren't very accurate. Yeah, I mean, like, we're doing Thracia side by side with this, right? And bows are the least accurate weapon type tied with axes, I'm fairly certain. Do you weigh them by character function? Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really like any of the Laguz's characters, so Laith being, like, just a cool unit design, and I think makes her probably the favorite. Like, under that, you know? I wonder why they made bows ass so often. Raisin. Hey, Raisin, look at you. You look sharp, kid. Go away. Oh, so you can talk. How dare you show your face to me? Well, I have been called brazen before. Some have gone as far as to say shameless. Come on. At least you give me a reason. Be gone. My ears are closed to you. Raisin, we're friends, are we not? Oh, yes, friends. In fact, we're such good friends that you sold me to that wretched sack of lard. I didn't really sell you. Besides, I planned on rescuing you right away. You were just impatient and flew away on your own, so... Are you blaming me? No. Well, maybe. I mean, it was I who was in the wrong, on all accounts. No one was hurt in the end. Come on. Smooth those ruffled feathers, alright? Leanne is alive. Yes, Tibarn's attendant told me. That's wonderful news. When he sees her face, I'm sure King Lorizia will begin to feel better at once. Things are really looking up, aren't they, Raisin? I suppose that if you hadn't deceived me and taken me to the forest, we might not have discovered her, so... I will forgive you just this once. Oh, Raisin, that's... with conditions. Will you accept them? What are they? Pull your troops from this battle now, and never enter combat against your fellow Lagoos. Oh, come now, Raisin. That's asking too much. What will you do then? Will you continue to fight the Crimean army, to which I am in service? Very well, you win, Raisin. I'll leave and take my soldiers with me. Yet, I cannot say what the future will bring. I have the fate of my nation to consider after all. Very well. So we're friends again? Come to Kilvis for a visit, will you? Neolucci will be so pleased. I'll do that. When this war is over, Leanne and I will both come. Oh, and as for Tabarn? I'll speak with him. There's no need for you to worry. Thank you. Farewell, and watch yourself. This is war, you know. Oh, I almost forgot. I've got something for you. Call it an I'm sorry present. What's this supposed to be? It's a human trinket called the Night Ring. Something made by Bjork. Don't make such a disgusted face. I tried it and it proved to be quite useful. Understood. I'll take it for now. Don't get killed, Raisin. If anything would happen to you, Neolucci would never let me hear the end of it. Nisala, thank you. Listen to me, Darkwings. We have Kilvis are leaving. Turn at once and head for home. King Neolucci, king of the funniest downside of all time in Fire Emblem. What's the downside? So now every green raven that escapes the map gives a little bit of bonus experience. But like the big reward for keeping them alive is the Night Ring, which you only care about them when they're red. 0 Fog of War vision. I mean, he's not on any Fog of War maps though, is he? So like that doesn't matter. He can be deployed in 1 Fog of War map? I don't think that's true. He joins in part 4, 4-P, which isn't a Fog of War map. And then 4- none of the tower maps are Fog of War, and 4-3 isn't Fog of War. The Lucia map? Nisala is not on the Lucia map. That would make that map a lot easier, though. Neolucci. I thought you said the king. Neolucci's not the king. He's just an advisor. 17 strength! Stronger than Oscar! Stronger than Rolf! Stronger than even Boyd, right? No, Ike. Ike is the 16 strength one. But yeah, Neolucci is on that map. That is true. Although it's funny because like he can be deployed. I believe he can be deployed on 2 Fog of War maps. Yeah, because 4-1 is a Fog of War map, and I believe Neolucci is not forced. I might be wrong, but I don't think Neolucci's forced into any army. I think you can send him wherever. Just most people send him to the desert because you know that's the best place for all your flyers. Do an FE12 run after this for no particular reason. I've been thinking about doing 11 and 12 again. Like genuinely, it's funny you mentioned that, Lag Spike, because I've been thinking about doing, I mean, I would do 11 first, but I've been thinking about doing an 11-12 run. But I don't like 12. It's just, you know, it's a game that I haven't really... 11 and 12 are games that I haven't shown off on my channel. You know, it's like a whole era of Fire Emblem that I haven't, really done anything with. Shadow Dragon New Mystery? Yeah, it's the Arcanea remakes. Definitely don't worry. Oh, fuck! I legitimately forgot about that! I already legitimately forgot about that. Fucking hell. I'll let it be a surprise for others, but Lag Spike might have done something to my controls. Marathon the whole series on every difficulty before the new game comes out. I'm already doing the Final Fantasy marathon, though. I know you're joking, but I mean, I'll be honest, the Final Fantasy stuff is, you know, a little bit gotten in the way of my ability to play Fire Emblem, but like, hey, that's just another upside, right? Smiley face. Six FE11 runs sound annoying? Oh, right, because if you do every difficulty, then you have to play FE12 5 times, FE11 6 times. Absurdity. Absurdity. Killed us and betrayed us. I think abandoned would be a more accurate word, but idiot. It's the same thing. Ah! Accursed subhumans. We should never have trusted them. 16. Oh, shit. Yeah, 3 houses. Because 4 routes, 3 difficulties. No, it's only 12 times. Because it's Silver Snow. Unless... do we count casual and classic as different from each other? Because then it's 24. Hard classic, normal classic, maddening classic, hard casual, normal casual, maddening casual. My sword is lightning. Do you think you can follow its stance? You fucking idiot! Your sword is wind, not lightning. Yo, counter moment! Maniac has a lot of stat creep, but it doesn't feel as bad as Lunatic to me. Which game are we talking about? What's with bosses bragging about their magic swords that only do like 5 damage? Yeah, there's that desert guy as well. I'm the strongest swordsman ever. I'll be honest, I don't know what the difficulties in 12 are, because it's like, they're all just different names that could be in any fucking order. It's like hard, grueling, maddening, maniac, lunatic! That's why I think most people, that's why I refer to them as like hard 1, hard 2, etc. And I think that's why most people do it as well. Because that's a common thing, just calling them like hard 1, hard 2, hard 3, hard 4, hard 5. Even the game itself labels the files as like H5, right? So... Normal, hard, maniac, lunatic. You're missing one. You're missing one. You're missing two. Because there's normal and then there's 5 versions of hard. Also, FA12 feels bad because it cuts things like Warp, Dragonstone, Almond, Silver card. You know, I know that's a common complaint, but I actually think that's a really cool and good approach to difficulty. No, don't heal Hamsa! I genuinely think it is much more interesting for a game to take tools away as a form of difficulty than just vanilla stat inflation. Because it forces you to use different strategies instead of just using the most broken strategies, right? Taking away the silver card is so fucking cool because it means the economy's tighter. Like, that's a genuinely huge change as far as the difficulty is concerned. Lunatic Reverse in 12, making every enemy have Vantage Plus. Huge change. The shame. So I actually, you know, people complain about that. And like, you know, it's not always done well. Radiant Dawn, I think, has an example of a great and awful change. The great change is the weapon triangle getting removed. I think hard mode Radiant Dawn losing the weapon triangle is the best way that Fire Emblem has ever done difficulty. I think it is the most meaningful change. It genuinely changes a lot of matchups and like requires you to do different tactics and stuff, right? But it also has the worst one because it removes enemy ranges, which is just obnoxious. It just turns it into a counting simulator. So it's pretty bad. But, you know, you win some, you lose some. Radiant, that's sort of how Radiant Dawn be. Losing targeting though, girl. Yeah, it loses enemy range. It's sad. We won somehow. It's because you did an excellent job of driving off the Ravens. Yeah, if we'd continued to fight them, we would have suffered more casualties than this. I must extend thanks to Rayson. My Lord Ike, I'm pleased to see you well. You haven't been injured, have you? Princess Valencia, I'm fine. I'm unharmed. Oh, that's good. Ike, may I have a word? And if you don't mind, Princess Valencia, would you join us as well? Please join me in that building. What could it be? Let's go see. This is... Holy shit. Incredible, no? It's gold. All of it. Dane must be filthy rich. There's so much, it doesn't even seem real. What do we do with it? It's the spoils of war, so naturally it's ours. In that case, I'd like to borrow 50,000. Would that be alright? It's a lot of money. What are you planning on doing? It's a private matter. I apologize, Commander. You're not a child. There's no reason for me to pry. My Lord Ike, please use this gold for the mercenary company. Until now, I haven't had the resources to adequately pay them, so please... No, if I may borrow the 50,000, that'll be more than... You won't borrow it, you'll accept it, and in good faith. The remainder we'll give to Soren for company maintenance. Would that be alright, Princess Valencia? Yes, of course. General Patrine? Please, General, I'm just a messenger. However, I have to tell you... I already heard you, dunderhead. I hated those filthy crows right from the start. Even so, to be betrayed in such a fashion. Someone will pay for this. Oh, you certainly had your way with us, didn't you, King Kilvis? But if you want to make an enemy out of Dane, so be it. Once Scalia has fallen, we'll turn our attention to your puny nation and wipe it off the face of the world. Are you still here? Why are you still here? Do you find me amusing? Shall I make my lance dance for you? No, ma'am! No, never! No, not at all! I beg your pardon! So sorry! I'll be going right now! Dog's breath. I need something. A brilliant plan. If this continues much longer, the king will have my head. You wanted to see me? You've waited a long time. Take this. It's the gold you were promised. Finally scraped it together, huh? I'll gladly accept it. Aren't you gonna count it? There's no need. I'll trust you. All right, then. Then I'll take what was promised. The report you wrote for my father? There isn't one. What? There's no report. Never was. You lied to me. You exploited my need to know more about my father? There is something I must tell you. However, it could not be written down. It's too great of a secret for that. Your father told me to wait until I thought you were mature enough to hear it, and then tell you myself. Mature? Then what was the 50,000 gold for? The gold. That was my idea. I thought it would be a good way to test how resourceful and responsible you were. Get started. I want to hear it all. I spent a long time as Grail's hired shadow. A long time. I remained hidden from sight in case the day ever arrived that I needed to fulfill my contract. All that time for one job. What was it? If Grail were ever to go berserk, I was to stop him. I was to take his life. What? Actually, there was one other thing. If Grail were ever seen by his pursuers, I was to watch over his son and tell him Grail's secret at an appropriate time. That was my job. Berserk? What are you talking about? Why would you have to kill my father? Because of Laren's medallion. What medallion? What are you talking about? Medallion your sister carries. Huh? That old bronze thing? I thought that was just a keepsake of my mother's. You're telling me it's something more? Grail told me it was an object of great peril, but nothing more. I did investigating on my own, though. And what I discovered surprised me. Tell me. Laran was one of the Heron clan, an ancestor of our Prince Rayson, who carried with him a bronze medallion. Long, long ago, a band of heroes defeated an evil god and imprisoned therein. An evil god? Do you think this is funny? You are joking, aren't you? Unfortunately, I'm not. And I have no idea how the cursed thing came to be in Grail's possession. That being said, I do know that the men who hunted your father were actually seeking the medallion. Why they wanted it and what they planned to do with it. Just thinking about it gives me chills. I'm finding all this a little hard to believe. You said the medallion was an object of great peril, didn't you? Then why would my father allow Miss to carry it around? That doesn't make any sense. That's because she can carry it safely. Actually, she's the only one who can. You want proof? Think back. Have you ever touched it? No, I haven't. A long time ago, I remember reaching out for it when Miss had it in her hand. My father scolded me harshly. After that, I assumed it was my sister's alone, and I never reached for it again. Compared to other people, the balance within your sister is extremely strong. Your mother, it seems, is the same. That's why they could bear it safely. The medallion is like a strong poison. It takes the worst aspects of a person and magnifies them 1,000-fold. Grail touched it only once, and it drove him to complete madness. So that's what you meant when you said he went berserk? That's right. Bjork and Laguz are made up of two forces, balance and chaos. In this, there is no difference between us. It is the proportion of balance to chaos that determines how much the medallion affects a person. In that sense, it predicts how much harm that person might do. Your father was one of the preeminent swordsmen of his generation. That day after he touched the medallion, 20 soldiers had come for him. 20 highly trained killers. Your father barely broke a sweat cutting them down. Then he began attacking his neighbors, those who had taken him in, concealed his identity and called him friend. He slew them one by one, until your mother rushed in, thinking only to save her husband from himself. It's gonna amplify Mist's 4 strength! It was over in an instant. Your mother grabbed the medallion from his hand and stepped away from him. They say she smiled as he pulled his sword from her breast and forgave him as her life's blood spilled into the street. My father killed my mother? No, that can't be. It was the medallion. Its power is too great for any man, even one of your father's caliber. Me, you, if either of us touched it, I'm certain that we both would have been consumed by its madness. When your father regained his senses, he tracked me down. It seems he'd heard rumors of me some time before. He said he had need of someone like me, close-mouthed, skilled, and most importantly willing to do any sort of work. Of course, after hearing what he wanted me to do, I turned him down. Grow was once a famed general. He was Sir Gawain, one of Dane's 4 riders, and I recognized him at once. There was no chance someone like me would ever be able to stop him. But you took the job anyway. Why'd you change your mind? Grail had lost his wife, and his grief was overpowering. To keep anything like that happening again, he crippled himself. He slashed the tendons in his sword hand, so he could not wield a sword again. I took the job only because he'd become someone my skill could handle. And even then, he was far stronger than most men. I don't know what to say. That's Grail's secret, as I know it. Now I entrust to you the responsibility of seeing the medallion does not fall into the wrong hands. Your sister must keep it. As my father lay dying, he told me to forget everything and live in peace. What did he mean? He didn't want you to lose yourself into hunting for revenge, I suppose. He was killed much, much sooner than he ever expected to be. So my father's dying wish was for me to protect the medallion? If I can do that, everything will be alright? I believe so. At the very least, I must take precedent over everything else. I understand. Oh, one last thing. What is it? Do you want to hire me? In the event that you go berserk someday. If we make a deal now, you won't have to worry about it anymore. As for payment, I can take it out of the 50,000 you just gave me. What do you say? I love how they give you the opportunity to turn Volk down again for no benefit. Please. That's a wise decision. And in that case, I no longer need to conceal my true identity. Huh? It's kind of funny how Mist can kill despite being the single most orderly Bjork in existence. That's probably why she uses swords, so that she can't kill. Don't worry, Ike, you'll be able to protect the medallion and you won't lose it immediately. Isn't it this chapter? I'm pretty sure it's in this chapter. If not, it's next chapter where it gets stolen. Also, I can reveal my identity puts the COVID mask on. Not really a thief. I'm an assassin. From now on, I'll take any job you've got, no matter how dirty. Father, mother, a why? Oh no, it's next. It must be next chapter then. Story promotion. Yeah, story promotion. Non-Lord story promotion. But, I think we're donezos. It's about midnight where I'm at, so catch you on the flip side, gamers.